There are guns that are truly great and will stand the test of time. The Glock 17, the AR-15, the M1 Garand, legends, and rightfully so because they've earned their place in history. Some guns served on the wrong side of wars, but represented innovations like the Walther P38 or the STG-44. But what about guns that everyone says are great but are actually kinda terrible? Today, we bring you our list of top 7 guns you may regret buying. Number 7. The Mosin Nagant. If we'd make this video many years ago, this entry would have gone to the SKS, but as prices have climbed, the SKS is no longer the darling of the TapCo catalog, and simply another budget CNR rifle. The Mosin Nagant, on the other hand, well, it's now number 7 on this list, because it's adored by an entire generation of internet fanboys who are too poor to buy a proper rifle and can't appreciate a $300 CNR gun for what it is. If I put $600 worth of crap on my Mosin, it's just as good as a Luger American rifle. No, you fedora-wearing neckbeard, it isn't. It's a $300 CNR rifle that's fought itself in every major war since WW1 and lost every time. But that's not good enough because people need to justify their purchases. So instead of just enjoying it, these spazoids have to pretend that they've bought a WW2 sniper rifle while they watch Enemy at the Gates for the 3,299th time in their mother's basement. However, truth be told, with some work and care, that trigger can be smoothed out, the action and barrel can be tightened down to get better groups, or you can take the easy route and buy a finished Mosin, where they essentially stripped the guns down to the receiver and built them back up into entirely different beasts, and you can feasibly make it shoot 2 to 3 inch groups at 100 meters. Number 6. Glock 19. The Glock 19 is not perfection. It never was. It never will be. The Walther PPQ? You'd be onto something, but let's get real. The trigger sucks. The polymer sights are flimsy, the grip angle isn't actually that great, which is confirmable since the custom Glock frames, such as Polymer 80 and so on, all use the 18-degree grip angle of the 1911 rather than Glock's 22-degree rake. Legions of tactical Kyles won't shut up about it, and frankly, they cost too much for what little you get in terms of features. Do they work? You bet they do. Thousands of police departments, competitive shooters, and so on aren't wrong. They are an excellent working pistol in terms of reliability and function, but they aren't the be-all end-all. Other pistols run just as reliably and either cost less or give you more and better features for the same amount or just a little bit more of money. Number 5. The Luger. The love affair with the Luger is perplexing. We blame movies. Yes, it's an interesting piece of machinery, and it represents a great historical niche in guns. It was also a pretty awful service sidearm and was replaced as fast as possible with literally better in a way Walther P38. As collector's items, they're neat, but that's also created an absolutely insane market for them, so that even run-of-the-mill samples will set you back close to $2,000. But like we said, we blame Hollywood. Lugers show up in basically every movie that involves Germans as good guys or bad guys, regardless of whether or not it's appropriate or period correct for the character to be carrying a Luger. Hell, even in the Wolfenstein game, set in an alternate history where the Nazis won, you're still getting saddled with a bunch of toggle-bolt full-auto Lugers. People love Lugers because they look cool, and apparently that's all that matters. Number 4. The AK-47. The AK-47. Beloved by people who want a rifle that holds the same number of rounds as an AR-15 but don't want an AR-15, despite it having superior ergonomics, sights, and accuracy. The real legacy of the AK is that it's a rifle designed to be used by literally the dumbest human beings on the planet, and in that role it excels. But critics argue it's not really a very good rifle. Its legendary reputation for reliability is mostly grounded in the same NOM-era war stories that make people think that M16s aren't reliable. It's earned this legendary reputation for mechanical reliability, which turns out to pretty much be just that, a legend. But the internet will tell you forever that nothing can jam an AK until one does malfunction. Then they'll say, well, that was a Bulgarian AK, not a true Russian model, so it's inferior garbage. Whatever you say. Go rewatch Red Dawn, the good one, and tell your AK that it's just as good as an AR-15. If you say it enough, maybe you'll start believing it. Number 3. The M14. We'd be worried about people getting out their pitchforks and torches and burning our house down because we're supposedly defaming their beloved M14, but most M14 fanboys can't get off the couch without a chairlift anyway. Our love affair for this gun is utterly bizarre. It lasted about 12 seconds as our main service rifle and was replaced by the M16, which has been soldiering on for damn near 50 years now. Meanwhile, the M14 is relegated to use as the occasional DMR rifle, and even there it's getting replaced by longer-barreled M16s and AR pattern rifles in .308 because they're better. People who love the M14 have spent too much time reading about how the 223 is a poodle shooter and think that everything would be better if we all just went back to the 1960s so we could get day drunk at work. The sad thing about M14 fanboys is that it's not even the best .308 of an era. The FAL is better by pretty much every single metric. The best thing you can say about the M14 is that it has a perfect one-shot stop record on Vincent D'Onofrio. Number 2, the 1911. This one hurts because we honestly love them, but frankly, 1911 pistols have to get tossed in here too. The 1911 is old. The carrying capacity is pathetic relative to the size and expense. You have to spend a lot to get a good one, and how is it that no one besides Wilson Combat has been able to make a magazine worth a damn? While the 1911 is one of the most beloved handguns, it's far from the best. 45 ACP is not really the man-stopper some people say it is. 9mm is just as effective and cheaper to boot. Okay, the ergonomics are great, but so what? Carrying a 3.5-pound government frame is a chore. Graded, we all love ours to death, but many of us don't carry it anymore for that reason. Also granted, we're probably going to buy a lightweight Commander and start carrying that because we miss it, but still, it is a highly effective platform. There's a reason why so many champion shooters and civilians still lug them around, but let's not kid anyone that there are some real limitations.
The 1911 A1, the first semi-automatic magazine-fed handgun issued to the U.S. Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, the standard issue sidearm during the Vietnam War, and that would be the M1911 A1 pistol. If you're going to issue a firearm to soldiers, to troops, if you make a specific tool for that gun, when he needs it, it won't be there. Trust me, I know. You have a grip safety right there, and it is a single action pistol. Chamber empty, magazine inserted, loaded in the holster.
Number 1, the Springfield XD, all flavors. Here's your typical XD buyer. A guy who wants a polymer-framed, striker-fired handgun, but for whom the extra $200 or so for a Glock or M&P is too much. So instead, he settles for the XD, and like anyone who takes their silver medal, must defend his choice vigorously to all comers. The XD enjoys all the benefits of the Springfield brand name, with all the quality, control Croatia can muster. Because, oh yeah, when we think quality firearms, we think Croatia. And you know what's worse? Slapping the Springfield logo on the XD is what really ruins it, because when it was the HS2000 and cost around $300, it would have made total sense. We would have climbed over mountains of Tauruses to get an XD, but no, we have to import them with a reputable brand name and upcharge them to $700 for the base model. Now a new XDM will cost the same or even more than a Glock or M&P, which is just madness. It's like walking into a car dealer and saying, yes, I'd like to pay $50,000 for a Camry, while the dealer himself is trying to sell you a BMW or a Mercedes. Say it with us, everyone. Overrated, overrated. That's all for this video, folks. See you another time.